Hey guys, welcome back to Joe McCown channel. I assembled, this is really random gibberish, it's not really an RTD, but I kind of wanted to throw a scenario out there, get your guys' thought processes running, because we really need some suggestions down in the comments below. Not this weekend, but the weekend prior, I was at Spring Fever. There was a couple videos that we posted on the channel about it. But my buddy Dale, who plays Necrons on this channel, was hosting a 40K tournament. And he's been hosting this tournament for a couple times at Sci-Fi Genre. And he basically has run into issues with no matter how he scores the tournament, whether it's battle points or, however he scores it, there's always people who are whining and complaining. And unfortunately, the reality is, he might have 12 to even, I think this last time he had 18 players, and you're only going to have one winner. But there's a lot of griping going on, and I kind of he called out to me and asked me if I could have it kind of go out to the world to say, what's the perfect way to score point system. With me today is Solid Smurf and John from War Game Painting. We will likely do an RTD of this coming up shortly, especially if we can generate interest. But I really want to help out my buddy Dale. So if you guys have suggestions, leave it down below. He will definitely be coming out to this channel to take a look at the answers that you guys have answered. So the first thing is, guys, can you do a little description on what, based on tournaments you all have attended, what was the best scoring system that the organizer came up with? We'll start with John.
Honestly, the best system that I've come across is what Ard Boys does. It's battle points, and then you get points on top of that for completing the overall objective is there, and then there's other things that you can do along the way, and that helps for tiebreakers and stuff like that. And that's the best system that I've come across. Anything with comp score or sportsmanship or paint scheme or anything like that, that's all garbage. I mean, you can't do that, because then there'll be douchebags there. It'll be like, oh, his sportsmanship was a 1. And the guy was completely nice the entire time, handshakes all around. But he's just like, oh, well, I'll do a better chance if, that guy, I know that guy's going to give me like an 8, but if I give him a 1, then, hey, look, that guy's out of the tournament now. So, I don't know. I think that the best way is either 1 point for winning, 0 points for losing. I think that is a great way to do it. Oh, look at that. And in the tournament, 4 rounds, that guy won 4 games. Oh, look, we got a winner. Oh.
Well, but how do you handle it when you have potentially 18 players and only three turns? You might have a couple people.
You go into bonus points. Okay, so that guy has 4 wins, that guy has 4 wins, that guy has 4 wins, that guy has 3 bonus points. He wins.
Okay.
It's got to be really cut and dry, or else it's going to get too complicated.
I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of beef that I've heard coming from people who have complained tend to have issues where the most recent way that he scored it was you had 3 objectives, and your primary objective was worth so many points, your middle objective was worth so many points, and your least objective was worth so many points. And people were complaining because they could win the major objective on every single turn and not win the tournament. But he's tried different things. He's tried Ard Boys type styling of he's tried different grand tournaments. He's gone online and done all kinds of research. So it's really, this most recent time, there was no points for painting. There was no points for sportsmanship. It was straight up, did you get the objectives? Smurf, how about you?
The best tournament that I've ever seen run was so easy. You got 1 point for a loss, 2 points for a tie, 3 points for a victory. Whoever had the most points at the end of the round robin won. That's it. It was that easy. They did have a little card that you could do sportsmanship on, but it didn't reflect on your points. If they noticed a trend of someone getting bad sportsmanship, they would watch it, and then they actually kick the guy out. So it's just like, you're gone. So, it was simple, it was effective, and it was run really, really well.
Wow.
That's because I run it. It was my tournament. I had a blast.
Nice. So
it worked, though. Everyone had a great time. I talked to people afterwards, and they were like, it was simple. It wasn't overcomplicated. And, I was like, hey, would y'all want to do a tournament with these rules again? And they were like, yeah, we loved it. So.
Okay. So one of the things that comes up is how do you define your mission types? So, for instance, Smurf, in the example you gave, was it just straight out of the book?
Yep. There were no surprises. I've played in tournaments where it was like, hey, for the last scenario, we're going to play capture the flag. And it totally, hosed half the armies there because only the Horde armies did really, really well at it. And then they were like, oh, we're going to throw in another scenario. And it was one where there was a random tornado and it was just hosing people. In a tournament setting, I believe it should be predictable. You should know what you're getting into. You should know what you're going up against. And there shouldn't be odd factors against you. For fun games, yeah, let's do a weather storm, where, we rolled a 6, there's a hailstorm, and all my Space Marines get plunked on the head with a piece of hail and they die. That's cool. But I don't want to see a tornado kicking through my tournament game. That that rubs me the wrong way.
John, what about you?
I gotta agree with Smurf. I don't think there should be any, tournament. I'm going to a tournament not that fun. I'm going to a tournament to be competitive and win. There's a huge difference there. There's a black line down the middle of fun and tournament. They do not intermingle. They should not intermingle. And people like me who go there and have that crap pulled on them, you're just like, I just paid $25 to go to this tournament, waste my entire weekend, plus whatever prep time, because I'm not just going to go with a piece together army list. Starting for Ard Boys, I started in December for this Ard Boys. That's almost a year-long training.
Nice.
So
one of these days he'll be potty trained.
He'll get out of that basement.
And then one of these tournaments I go to, and it's like, oh, half your army is held in reserves for no apparent reason. Okay, how was I supposed to know that? It should be, if that's the case, they should post the rules on the forums the first day and be like, okay, here's a tournament. This is what's going to happen in the tournament. And then all the tournaments that I've ever been to, here's a tournament, sign up, put down your army list. If you decide to change your army list at any point, re-email it and we'll redo it. So you know what everybody has, you know what armies are showing up, and you can account for it, And then they have a cutoff point too. It's like, okay, everybody has to submit their finished army list by this point, so it's not like the last guy 5 minutes before the tournament starts comes with a, hey, look, I kick everybody in the teeth list. It's like, there you go.
See, I have to say that, and this might be the case because I don't play the latest and greatest codex, but I found that, to me, one of the most enjoyable tournaments that I went to did the points which were based on objectives. They did have various scenarios that were not standard in the rule book. However, much like John was saying, all the scenarios were posted before you had to submit your army list. So basically, people knew what they were getting into, and it was kind of a notion that bridged that gap between a fun and a cutthroat tournament that you were kind of getting into, but people kind of knew that ahead of time. So the hardcore, win at all costs. I don't mind taking a bat to the back of someone in case they're doing too well. People wouldn't attend it because it wasn't necessarily straight out of the book. But I digress, because this particular tournament occurred right as 5th edition was being launched, and people didn't really know what to really expect out of 5th edition rules anyway. So it was kind of a nice mixture between 4th and 5th scenarios that could exist. So, okay, this has pretty much been a random gibberish on talking about tournaments and how to score them. I would love to hear people's comments down below. Like I said, we're trying to help out my friend Dale, who just wants to know what's the cleanest solution. It seems like, based on my panel, the way to do it, if you're classifying it as a tournament, is to keep it simple. Follow the mission types from the rule book. Make everything be simple point deviation. And, you know, you're still going to have people complain because a tie is going to be, you know, what dictates a tie. I don't know.
Well, and again, I mean, my buddy and I have talked about this. We've been wanting to set up a convention up here for just a straight up tournament. 3-day tournament, starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the only way we could conceive of doing it is if at every table we guessed we'd have 32 people. You have to have a ref, a trained ref. That means that they come in for 2 weeks, 2 weekends. You teach them the rules. You tell them this is what happens in this scenario. This is what happens in this scenario. That guy says this guy says that. This is your ruling. And you have to have a guy standing at every table. That is the best way to run a tournament. If you have a judge at every table, or it's just completely meaningless. If you have 3 guys just drifting around talking to each other, there's no point. They have to be sitting at every table, and they have to be talking about the rules. They have to know the book inside and out. They have to know all the codexes inside and out. They have to put their foot down.
Wait. For a 1 day or for a 7-hour local gaming store tournament, you have to have the number If you want to run a legit tournament and you want people to not bitch at the end of it, you have to have a table with a ref at every single one of them. It's the only way it's going to happen. Dude,
because otherwise people are going to complain about it and whine.
Well, what state have we come to where tabletop gaming has become this ridiculous? You might be right, John, but that just makes me go.
I'm not saying it's not ridiculous, but it's the only way we could think of doing it, because we're like, oh, well, maybe if we had one guy for every 3 tables. Well, no, because, what happens with table 3 has the argument about it, and he's at table 1.
When I judged my tournament, I say it was mine, when I judged the tournament that I was at, I had 3 tables that I watched over, and I was fine with it. It wasn't a big deal.
How many people were there?
Well, it was 2 people per table, John.
No, really? How many people overall?
How many players in the tournament?
There were only like 8 to 12.
Okay,
I think something like that. I mean, it was real small.
You can get away with it, but when you have 32 people there, you need to have a judge at every table. So, and
how boring that must be, though, to be a tournament judge for 1 table. Oh, you need a rule clarification.
Yeah. No, was I dreaming? No, wait. Oh, I don't want to get off the pony.
I'm late for school. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, guys. Like I said, please leave your comments below. We're very interested, and a lot of people want to know, how would you run a tournament? If you've been to a tournament where you think it's been the best, leave comments below, please. Please. We're trying to get an answer out for a buddy of mine, like I said. Have a good one. And, guys, thank you for throwing this video quickly together with me. Peace.